Daughters, what is something you wish your father knew about girls when you were growing up? That when he stopped hugging me because I was developing, it broke something inside me that took years to fix. My dad and I used to be best friends. Every morning before school, he'd give me these big bear hugs and tell me to go show the world what Peterson girls are made of. When I turned 13 and started developing, everything changed overnight. The hugs stopped completely. If I tried to hug him, he'd pat my back twice and step away like I was on fire. At first, I thought I smelled bad or something. I started using extra deodorant and changing clothes twice a day. When that didn't work, I figured maybe I was getting too old for hugs, but my friends still hugged their dads, so that didn't make sense either. The worst part was how he started treating me like I was doing something wrong just by existing in my own body. When I wore my favorite t-shirt to breakfast one Saturday, Dad looked at me and said, "Go put on something more appropriate." I looked down at my shirt. It was just a normal purple t-shirt I'd worn 100 times before. What's wrong with it? You know what's wrong with it, but I didn't know. Mom had to explain later that Dad was uncomfortable because I wasn't wearing a bra under my shirt. I was 13. I barely needed a bra, but suddenly I had to wear one every second of every day because my dad couldn't handle seeing the outline of my developing body. The message was clear. My body was something to be ashamed of and hidden. It got worse when I got my period. I was at Dad's softball game when it started. I whispered to Mom that I needed to go to the bathroom, and she quietly gave me a pad from her purse. Dad saw the exchange and loudly asked, "What's all the whispering about?" When Mom said it was girl stuff, Dad made this disgusted face and said, "Well, keep it to yourselves." Like my period was some gross secret that shouldn't exist in his presence. But the thing that really broke my heart happened when I was 14. I came home crying because this boy Jake had broken up with me over text. It was my first real heartbreak, and I just needed my dad to tell me everything would be okay. I went to his office where he was working on his computer. "Dad, can I talk to you?" He looked up and saw I was crying. Instead of asking what was wrong, he said, "Go talk to your mother. I don't do crying girls." I stood there for a second, hoping he was joking, but he just turned back to his computer. That's when I realized my dad saw me as a crying girl, not as his daughter who needed comfort. I stopped going to him with problems after that. When boys were mean to me, when friends betrayed me, when I was scared about high school, I handled it all alone. By the time I was 16, we barely talked unless he was lecturing me about curfew or grades. The saddest part was watching him with my little brother. He'd still give Tommy bear hugs, still told him to go show the world what Peterson boys are made of. Same dad, same love, but apparently only boys were allowed to receive it. When I left for college, Dad shook my hand goodbye, my hand, like I was a business associate, not his daughter. I didn't talk to him for 2 years after that. The only reason we have a relationship now is because I confronted him about it when I was 25. I told him that when he stopped hugging me, I thought it meant I wasn't worthy of love anymore. He started crying and said he never meant to hurt me. He was just scared of doing something inappropriate and didn't know how to handle having a teenage daughter. But here's what I wish he'd known then. I needed him more during puberty, not less. I needed him to tell me I was still his little girl even though my body was changing. I needed him to hug me extra tight when boys were mean to me. Most of all, I needed him to show me that men could love and respect women without making them feel ashamed for being female. We hug now, but I'll always wonder who I might have become if he'd never stopped.